Capricorn, this is your January 2024 soul story. Welcome back. Happy solar returns for those of you with birthdays this month. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading for the new year ahead. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Romy here. I appreciate you taking the time to tune into my channel. Now we are going to open up this month with the Chariot, and right from the get-go Mercury will station direct in Sagittarius for 2nd of the month, and then on the 4th Mars is moving into your sign Capricorn. So we get very specific and also very realistic, and the question that you'll be asking yourself early on is, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Because if we don't ask ourselves that question, then the momentum is already pulling us forward. Like that Chariot saying that there's already a pathway that has revealed itself, things that we need to be making progress with through the course of January. But we do need to just ensure we take that pause and in some ways let all of the energy gather. Because this is you not just building your vision anymore, you know, this is us going one step beyond the vision board in January. And this is about creating this whole story. This is about understanding how you want to be living your life and the changes that you intend on making over the course of the next 12 months. But it's also, you know, you seeing that with such technicolor and vibrancy, your interaction with others, you know, how things around you are going to be changing in the collective, in the community. And so you're sort of amplifying that vision to a greater degree than you ever have before. And what I like about January, and especially for you because your sign is so adept at being able to balance this, is that we have this real powerful dose of realism in terms of what needs to be done that could absolutely feel daunting. And yet there's just this willingness to do what it takes. And at the same time, we are all becoming such powerful spiritual warriors, and the willingness to go the extra mile, but also to be innately guided by something greater than we ever have before, makes for this really powerful, unique blend and sort of partnership energy, if you like. So Mars in your sign is absolutely going to be supportive in helping you to find direction early on. And, you know, this will also support you where there are undoubtedly going to be some significant distractions that try to show up in the early part of the year. And even when there are things that you are invested in, there's a degree of having to remain unattached. Otherwise, the confusion and the illusion of things could absolutely derail you if you're not careful. Now, we will make our way towards the new moon in your sign, so highlighting the 11th of the month, it's coming in at 20 degrees. And, you know, there's some harmonious aspects with Neptune and Uranus, which means that there is this bid for freedom. And it comes in the guise of a very transcendent experience. Now, there may be some that are trying to escape by all sorts of different means. And yet with that power of direction, that realism, and that sort of discernment that you bring to the table, I feel like you're harnessing that new moon in your sign in a way that you never have in previous experiences. Like something's shifted, something's different, something's new in terms of your attitude, your belief perhaps, you know, what it is that you're asking or how you're asking. So if you're aware of the rituals and the practices that you've always had in and around sort of perhaps new moon energy or this season or this time of year, notice the shifts, because they are a direct correlation to the degree that you have grown and how much awareness you have. And it is really, honestly, Capricorn, time to let this beloved, whole, healed version of you speak and work the room. And where you're still feeling like you're trying to prove something to somebody, because that Seven of Cups still has this energy of just like uncertainty, and I feel it's specific to another individual in some capacity. What we see happening, especially around that new moon, is that they're either going to immediately see the value in you and you will notice a shift and a change in the behavior, or you're going to see it in yourself to such a great extent, more than you ever have before, that what they think no longer matters. And therefore you will adjust and make the according actions now knowing that, or being at peace with that. Now, 2024 is a number 8 year. So it's giving us this opportunity to really develop our personal power. And we have reward, we have achievement, but it's also, about we get out what we put in. So, the ways in which we prosper is through the depth of our awareness, the strength of the determination that we have to bring to things. But it's also about the information that we absorb, the accuracy of that information. And, this is a time for you to move from panic to peace if you have not already made that very distinct choice. It's about recognizing that the losses, inevitable as they have been, must become the greatest lessons. And the strength comes through here. So as this rings true, both personally and in the collective, this 8 year is helping you to really understand things in a very specific and very realistic way. And that in and of itself almost starts to help create the plan and architect this much bigger vision. Okay, so the next day after this new moon, we do have asteroid goddess Juno stationing retrograde in Virgo. Now, we talked about her moving into Virgo back in October. And the realization of what it was going to take to bring agreements, to forge connections, to bring more balance and harmony to partnerships and relationships. And of course, in this move to go retrograde, we now have a few more challenges that are set to arise. And yet we also have Mercury shifting back into your sign after its retrograde. Capricorn on the 14th. And so as those problems kind of surface, or those opportunities for growth reveal themselves, and you'll be working with this over the next few weeks and months, there's almost this sense of knowing what, okay, again, this isn't going to be easy, and I know what's required of me. And I think that's the thing, through 2023, there was much confusion about, well, what's being expected of me? What do I expect of myself? And I think that haze just made things that much more challenging, especially when we were getting these kind of body blows from every which way and direction. 2024, and especially January, sort of laying it out and saying, well, this is what's needed. This is what's required. Are you in or are you out? Are you signed up or are you not? And so, it's not necessarily like it's so easy going, but it's more transparent. Now, that's not to say that a lot of the information and energy that surrounds continues to present and project this uncertainty and illusion. But you have a clearer, more distinct choice to withdraw and remove yourself and see the clarity of this way or that way. And that will be super helpful, especially as you recognize in those more professional, platonic, and romantic relationships of the work that needs to be addressed, of what needs to be dealt with. Okay, so this first part of January, with all of the energy coalescing in your sign, is an opportunity, as we said, to take the pause, but to really start to build not just this vision that's very close to home, but something much bigger, much bigger. And, in that experience, what we also need from you in January, Capricorn, is to give yourself a safe place to land, and others. So if you feel like there are times when you're out on the front line, or you're in the trenches, so to speak, there has to be that place that you can withdraw to and pull back from. Strength tells me that you're willing to do what's necessary, and you will dig deep to find it. 8 of Pentacles, again, I love this for you, because it's just this mastery, it's this understanding of, well, this is worth it. it's going to be worth it. So, it doesn't matter how many ways you tell me it can't be done or it shouldn't be done or it's going to be really hard to do. My overwhelming feeling is it must be done. Like, I have to do this. And so, as you kind of come to that conclusion, if you like, again, it just kind of creates this very sort of clear, streamlined, energetic pathway to start to unfold for you. Now, I think some of you will also be picking up where you left off, especially when, Mercury went retrograde and, of course, holiday season, just slowing things down a little bit. So you pick up where you left off, and it doesn't take much to kind of re-establish the momentum and the flow, which is wonderful. And then we've got this really significant date, of course, with Pluto moving out of your sign and into Aquarius, 20th, 21st. Now, it will be in Aquarius till the 2nd of September, then dip back for its absolute final soiree through Capricorn, and then fully move into Aquarius on the 19th of November. So that feeling, and you already will have had a little bit of that experience in the early part of 2023, returns, and it does feel different. I mean, there's just no way about it. Like, you've had this energy hanging over you since 2008. So, Pluto really shifting gears is going to transform your life in many, many clear, tangible ways. And so as that happens, again, what we want to ensure is that you have thought about what matters to me, what am I doing, and why am I doing it? Because it's almost like this year and this month especially will just mirror back to you what you're putting out in such a sort of clear way that it will be irrefutable to you in terms of the laws of the universe. You're like, okay, like I really should have had like my game on a little bit more or been thinking a bit more clearly. And this is why we said back in November it was so important to do that mental reprogramming, Now, we've got death coming through here, and the profound change, I think, as we really talk about that Pluto shifting sign is absolutely clear. We've got Venus shifting into Capricorn as well on the 23rd, so such a dominance of the personal planets kind of supporting you as they speak your language, but you also have an inevitable sort of moment of closure and something that has to evolve. And, whether that is wanted or you feel like you're a little bit unprepared for the timing of it, or maybe you knew it was coming, but then it happens and you feel you didn't expect to have perhaps some of the emotions or the ways that you're now kind of thinking about it. So, there's something that needs to be processed and sat with. And again, this is why I'm saying like having that safe place is going to be really important. Now, what's really interesting is as I'm talking about this, Spirit is saying to me that there's also something through the course of January, just to make it a little bit more complicated, that you're going to feel like you want to give up on. And I want you to watch the ways in which the universe sends every sign and every synchronicity to conspire to stop that from happening. And that might mess with your mind a little bit, especially if something comes to an end. And there's also that interpretation that's just like, well, okay, I'm clearly being directed over here, which means I also need to let this go. But no, there's something that's meant to stay. There's something that's still in the process of like really revealing its true potential and value. And so you're going to know what that is, because in spite of you sort of feeling consciously, okay, like, I need to make this decision, every other aspect of your being, your whole energy field will be saying no. And every sign that shows up for you that pertains directly to that will also be telling you no. So try to trust into that, even if it doesn't fully make sense, even if you do feel a little bit confused as to why, especially in light of other things that might be changing and transforming and ending. Okay. Now we have a full moon arriving in Leo on the 25th at 5 degrees, and it's amped up with Jupiter. So there is this like real kind of loud and proud energy. And there's a little bit of drama going on there. In fact, I would be clear if I said that you should fully expect that there will be a lot of attention seeking. And again, this is going to be part of like how you're dealing with the distractions. So we've got the star coming in because there's a lot of fame seeking going on around that moon. And, you know, you yourself, like if there's something, especially where we need to put on a performance and we really need to convince or, you know, to project or present a certain type of energy, that's absolutely going to work in your favor for sure. But it can go too far or we can do too much. That's sort of the vibe that we've got coming in with Jupiter there as well. But at the same time, you know, for some that maybe find it a little bit more challenging to really put themselves out there, I think that's an energy to be harnessed. And because there's this aspect of just feeling like really proud and, you know, just sort of unafraid to be able to just go, well, this is me, accept me or not. Like, I quite like that. And of course, there is something very healing with the energy of the star, although I feel in this instance, it's far more about what it is that you're seeking. Those big bright lights, the big desires, the bold moves that you feel compelled to make. And it wouldn't be a bad thing this early on in the year to sort of harness that moon and really take steps to initiate, to present, to communicate. You know, this is me, this is where I'm going, this is what I believe, this is what's going on. And, you know, we have just a couple of days later, Uranus stationing direct, where the progress that's now needed from a revolutionary perspective requires bold action. So the whole vibe of the end of January is definitely one of just like outside your comfort zone. Just take the risk. And remember, you have this balancing realism, but you've also got this kind of building spiritual warrior energy. And if you know what the distractions are and you can kind of ring fence them, then this is an opportunity to sort of make your mark or make a big impression. And you can steer away from the drama. Undoubtedly there will be some, but much of it will be sort of full of hot air. You know, it's not combative necessarily. It's just sort of people posturing. You know, there's a lot of that kind of a vibe. But remember what I said, this is a time for you to let this beautiful, whole, beloved, healed version of you to speak and work the room, and that would be the time to do it. This is you moving from panic to peace and being really comfortable in terms of what you think about the decisions and choices that you're making. And remember, the moons will always reveal the full moons, so the revelations will also act as a powerful catalyst for healing, for recovery, for you giving yourself permission, I think, really, to play a different role. Because Leo often will connect us to the roles that we play in society. And so there's something here that's also about, you know what, this is not the role I want to play anymore. And just being quite fearless and, you know, a little bit maverick with Uranus stationing direct to say, well, you know, this is what I intend to do. We have to take heed of all that work that we've been doing as it was retrograde this last 5 months. So if you are new to my channel, our last 3 cards, Capricorn, we cover in the extended version of my reading. And we talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card for you. I'm going to go ahead and look at some clarifiers for us for this month and just see the direction that we will be taking that reading in for you. So just beginning with the Chariot, have the energy of the 7 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, beautiful. All the decks I use are always listed below, okay? We just can't allow this sort of disorientating energy to pull us into any sort of belief that we don't know, because you do know, and you're being given that direction and that guidance more clearly than ever before. 8 of Swords, beautiful. High Priestess, strength, love this for you. 4 of Wands. So please check out the soul support that I've created for you for this month of January, just helping you to set up this year ahead, beautiful journey that we'll take together. And you'll also find all my sacred titles, my oracle cards, and also my book over on the website. 6 of Cups, 2 of Cups, Ace of Cups. Definitely some important discussions taking place for some of you around love relationships through January. I think, you know, we can highlight that Venus shifting into your sign as being a time where you just feel it necessary to kind of really address what is unfolding and make sure that you feel comfortable and confident in terms of moving forward, if that's the choices and decisions that you're making. Let's have a look at some oracle cards for you now, Capricorn. Such a year of movement and growth. You know, from a Chinese astrology, we're moving into the dragon, the green wood dragon, from February. Spirit wolf, beautiful. Again, just working in harmony with this 8th year. That's really about reminding us that actually we can bring forth much of the things that we've been asking for through the course of this year, as long as we come at it with the right attitude. We've got casting out constellations, and we have rise in love. We've got the rainbow dragon and the wild rose. Detours from the divine. Waterfalls of white light, lovely. Okay, let's have a look at the energy oracles. Community, beautiful. Oh, there's something else going on in there as well with regards to some friendships. We'll talk about that in the extended. Okay, finally for Capricorn, January 2024. Oh, interesting. Anomaly. Okay, I look forward to diving into these messages with you. Thank you for supporting me and the channel. I look forward to continuing this on the extended. You have a beautiful month. Enjoy your solar returns, and I will see you again next time. You take care. Bye for now.